You little mother. You kidding me?
Oh, she stood on her.
In the last few years, the number of Americans on the road has skyrocketed. And that means more traffic, more accidents, and also more rage. With violent road rage up nearly 500%. This is where the rubber meets the road. Knowing when to walk away from a road rage altercation could potentially save you a lot of pain and humiliation. In Los Angeles, California, the man in the orange sweatshirt has just gotten out of his car to have a word with the driver of the truck next to him. The two presumably had an altercation on the road before reaching the stoplight. As the back and forth heats up, the truck driver starts to pull away. But the man in the orange sweatshirt refuses to let the situation or his grip on the truck go. When the truck slows down a short distance ahead, the hanger-on gets a reprieve. But only for a few seconds. At the next intersection, the truck runs the red light, nearly causing an accident. And the man in the orange sweatshirt continues to hold on for dear life. The truck driver is finally held up behind other traffic at the next light. So the man hanging on takes the opportunity to stick his head inside the truck's window, which turns out to be a very bad move. Because 30 seconds later, the man suddenly seems to lose consciousness and falls back onto the road. It's unclear what exactly caused him to pass out, but when the light changes green, the truck driver takes off, leaving the man stranded on the road, pleading for help, or at least a ride back to his car. No word yet on any charges. When competing with others for limited parking, be careful of who you offend. Their wrath could have very serious consequences. At a clinic in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the cameras on Amanda Aubin's car record as she searches for a spot in the very crowded parking lot. After minutes of circling, Amanda finally sees a spot open up and starts to pull in. Just as another driver in a red car seems prepared to do the same.
I approached the spot that I was going to pull into when I saw a car backing out of it. Now, I didn't see the other person waiting. At the time, I assumed maybe we just pulled up at the same time. But since I was on the right side, I went ahead and pulled into that spot.
But the other driver pulls in behind Amanda and waits.
I thought it was pretty weird that she just pulled up directly behind me, but I tried not to think too much behind it. I did watch her through the camera on the back of my car just to see what was up.
The other driver gets out and seems to complain to someone else about having lost the spot.
I noticed when she was talking to that person, her fist was clenched pretty tightly, and you could tell she was pretty tense and probably upset.
But the driver finally gets back into her car, backs up, and pulls into another spot.
At that point, I figured, okay, everything is cool because we were both parked, and then she walked in to her appointment. So I just proceeded to do the check-in procedure for my doctor's office while in my car.
Amanda finishes her check-in and then heads into her appointment. Altercation apparently avoided. But when Amanda returns to her car later, something is very, very wrong.
It was very obvious that my driver's side door and driver's side passenger door was very damaged. I was pretty upset.
So Amanda reviews the footage from her car's cameras and is stunned. While Amanda is at her appointment, the other driver returns, and she's clearly not quite over losing that initial parking space. The woman drags her keys across the side of Amanda's car, leaving a serious mark. She then returns moments later to key some more.
Not only once, but twice on the doors. It seemed like she's done this before.
Amanda brings the video to the police, and the keyer gets her just desserts.
We did get a copy of the police report, and she was arrested and charged. And I was recently paid retribution as well.
The woman is charged with simple criminal damage to property, and she must pay retribution in the amount of $1,500, which certainly helped ease Amanda's bad feelings about the whole incident.
In the end, my car was fixed. Nobody was hurt. I'm glad she was caught, and hopefully she learned a valuable lesson, especially being blasted on news sites and TV. I mean, she got what she deserved. So in the end, I'm not even mad anymore. It's done.
Willowbrook, Illinois. The man riding this motorcycle has just flipped off the driver of a Jeep after the biker claims they cut him off. Now, the driver of the Jeep is following him
You kidding me?
and seems intent on expressing their anger. So the biker speeds off. But the Jeep is still following him. So he passes a truck on the shoulder of the road and several more cars by dangerously weaving into the opposite lane. And yet still, the driver of the Jeep is on his tail and apparently looking to do some damage. The Jeep sideswipes the biker, sending him flying off the road and into a ditch, and separating his helmet cam from his helmet. The biker is able to get to his feet quickly. That's him in the checkered shirt. The driver in the Jeep takes off, but a couple of witnesses stop to check on the biker, who appears to be okay, but seems giddy. Most likely due to shock.
Did you get that on video?
No, sorry.
Hold on. Oh, I just got. Hold on. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you.
Police arrive a short while later.
I just got ran off the road by a person. You needed? No, I mean, I was wearing gear. I'm wearing gear under this, so.
The case is currently pending. But with the biker's helmet cam footage and statements from witnesses, hopefully the responsible party will be brought to justice.
up.
A face-to-face confrontation has broken out at a traffic light after an earlier altercation on the road. And like all road rage face-offs, it gets ugly quick.
Oh, she spit on her. So funny.
Though over almost as quickly as it starts,
Oh, her hair fell out.
it's clear that nobody here comes out on top.
So funny.
Except maybe for the people recording the fight from their car, who get a free lesson in how not to handle disputes on the road.
Oh, she spit on her.
Northridge, California. This truck has just been rear-ended. The truck's driver gets out of the vehicle, hoping to get insurance information from the driver who just hit him. But the driver refuses and appears to attempt to leave the scene. Until he realizes that his front license plate fell off in the collision and is now in the possession of the man he hit. The two immediately get into each other's faces.
I'll take my license plate, though. You're gonna push me into traffic? Away from me, man. You got the away from me. Give me my license plate. Grab my license plate. Grab my license plate. You're gonna get hurt.
The driver of the truck assumes the young man is about to flee and prepares to give chase. But the young man doesn't leave. He goes back to his car to retrieve something. He runs back to his car to grab something. His cell phone.
Call him up. Call him up.
The two come face to face again.
Grab my license plate. Touch me and I'm gonna you up. What the Hey, you.
More escalation. This conflict is showing no signs of letting up. In fact, it's about to get a lot more dangerous.
You wanna play?
The young driver continues to taunt the older man. And it's working.
Yeah, I do. Oh, you little mother. I'm gonna run your over. Come on, touch it.
The truck driver pulls ahead of him to block him from leaving. But it does no good.
I got you.
The young man takes off. But thanks to the dash cam footage of the incident, the driver of the truck is able to report the accident to the police. To date, no charges have been filed.
Oh, you little mother. You better get the away.
In Lake Charles, Louisiana, a driver records a truck riding closely on the tail of a black sedan. The driver recording claims that the two vehicles have been going back and forth for miles. And for one of them, Karma is about to rear its ugly head. The truck makes a sudden move to pass on the far right lane by using the breakdown lane. But the breakdown lane ends abruptly. Karmic payback to a very impatient driver. In Peculiar, Missouri, a cyclist's helmet cam records as he approaches an intersection on Highway J. Because the road he is turning onto has very little room on either side to accommodate a bicycle, he wisely waits till there is a lull in traffic. But unfortunately, his caution doesn't pay off.
You mother! Why the f are you looking at your phone, officer? I got a text from another officer. Give me a second.
He's just been struck by a police officer who was looking at his phone.
Damn it! Right. Why are you texting? I don't care if you're texting.
I wasn't texting. I was looking at my phone.
Either way.
Yeah, I know. That's my bad.
Why are you doing that in a turn?
I wasn't paying attention.
Officer, dude. I can walk. How's my arm look?
Your arm's fine.
How about this one?
You're fine.
I need.
There's no abrasions. That's the only abrasion you got right there.
The officer calls in the Missouri State Police to file the report to avoid a conflict of interest. He is suspended with pay pending an investigation. The cyclist only has minor injuries.
Damn it!
The damage to his bike is considerably worse.
Wow! You.
Failing to properly secure items you're moving with your vehicle can pose a great risk, not only to the items themselves,
Holy.
but also to other drivers. For obvious reasons. But every once in a while, it can also be very, very entertaining.
I don't think he knows that his sofa is getting dragged across the highway. And the better question is, why am I behind him? Here, watch this. This ought to be good. Hold on. This ought to be really good. All right, come on. Yeah, it's a good idea. No. You are kidding me. He's dragging a sofa behind him. Are you kidding me? Oh, no. Just go about your business. Okay. That's amazing.
San Diego, California. It's business as usual as a security camera films the exit of a car wash. But keep your eye on this white minivan. The driver takes the turn a little too wide, dropping several feet to the street below and knocking over a fire hydrant. Amazingly, the driver is not seriously injured, but the newly washed car is severely damaged. On the plus side, though, well, there is no plus side. Road Wars has real life, jaw-dropping moments captured by real drivers, proving that anything can happen on the road.